Hello students, we are discussing the first chapter, Introduction to Macroeconomics. Till the last class, I taught about capitalism and merits of capitalism and demerits of capitalism. Today we have to discuss about socialistic economy. It means socialism. In short, socialism. Let us see in detail. The father of socialism is Karl Marx. Socialism refers to a system of total planning, public ownership, and state control on economic activities. In capitalist economy, private ownership. I told you, isn't it? Here, in socialist economy, this is totally planning and public ownership as well as the state control will be there. In all the economic activities, state control also will be there. So the socialism is defined as a way of organizing a society in which major industries are owned and controlled by the government. A socialistic economy is also known as planned economy or command economy. This is one more question. Socialist economy is also known as planned economy or command economy. Father of socialism is Karl Marx. This is also one more question. In a socialist economy, all the resources are owned and operated by the government. Public welfare is the main motive behind all the economic activities. Whatever it is, the public welfare, the well-being of the people only behind all the economic activities. It aims at equality in the distribution of income and wealth and equal opportunity for all. The aim of the government is equality to all. Russia, China, Vietnam, Poland and Cuba are the examples of socialistic economy. But now there are no absolutely socialist economies. Let us see features of socialism. See here, before we have to discuss about the features of socialism, the command economy or planned economy, it means socialism, I said. See here, what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. This is the completely determined and controlled by a central authority. They only taking decision what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. This is command economy. Understood? Let us see the features of socialism point by point. The first point is public ownership of means of production. All resources are owned by the government. We know that. In socialist economy, all the resources are owned by the government. It means that all the factors of production are nationalized and managed by the public authority. So what are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital. These are the factors of production are nationalized by the public authority. It means government. Understood? Then the planning, central planning. Central planning is an integral part of the socialistic economy. Integral part means overall, okay, or in the center. In this system, all decisions are undertaken by the central planning authority, like central government. Okay, they only taking all the decision about buying vaccine, like that. Here also, the planning is an integral part of the socialistic economy. Maximum social benefit. Here, they concentrating maximum social benefit. So, social welfare is the guiding principle behind all economic activities. Investment are planned in such a way that the benefits are distributed to the society at large. So, the investment are planned by the central planning authority, and also their aim is maximizing the social benefit. Non-existence of competition. Under the socialist economy, there is absence of competition in the market. So, there is no competition in the market. The state has full control over production and distribution of the goods and services. the state only having all the control about the production and distribution of the goods and services. So the consumer will have a limited choice. Okay, the government only having all the controls means what will be there? The consumer have limited choice only. Absence of price mechanism. The pricing system works under the control and regulation of the Central Planning Authority. They only maintaining all the price mechanism. The central authority only maintaining and regulating the price mechanism. Equality of income. Another essential feature of socialism is the removal and reduction of economic inequalities among the peoples. Under socialism, private property and the law of inheritance do not exist here. Okay, so the control owned by the central authority only. That's why the inequality removed by the central government in the society. So under this socialistic economy, private property and the law of inheritance do not exist. Equality of opportunity. Socialism provides equal opportunity for all through free health, education and professional training, everything. So, in socialistic economy, it provides equal opportunity to all. Classless society. They bring in classless society. Under this system, there is a classless society and so no class conflicts. Conflict means fight. So in a true socialist society, everyone is equal as far as economic status is concerned. So classless society maintained by the socialistic economy. Next we have to move merits of socialism. The features of socialism we learned. Now merits of socialism. Reduction in inequalities. No one is allowed to own and use private property to exploit others because the government only controlled. So this is the first point, reduction in inequality by the central government. And rational allocation of resources. Rational allocation of resources. The Central Planning Authority allocates the resources in a planned manner because this is planned economy. We know that, isn't it? Planned economy or command economy. That's why the Central Planning Authority allocates the resources in a planned manner. Wastages are minimized and investments are made in a pre-planned manner. Okay, wastages are reduced by the government and they concentrating using the resources efficiently, minimizing their wastages and increasing their investment according to their plan. Absence of class conflict. As inequalities are minimum, there is no conflict between rich and poor class. This is true. Society functions in a harmonious manner. So peacefully the society will be run. Here inequality is removed by the central authority means the absence of class conflict will be there. End of trade cycle. I said to you, end of trade cycle. The planning authority takes control over production and distribution of goods and services. Therefore, economic fluctuation can be avoided. So they always concentrating the production of goods and services and distribution of goods and services. That's why the economic fluctuation will avoid by the government. So end of trade cycle here. Promote social welfare. Here the social welfare promoted by the central government authority. It promotes social welfare because of absence of exploitation, reduction in economic inequalities, avoidance of trade cycle and increase in productive efficiency help to promote social welfare. Automatically, these are all run by the and managed by the government means automatically the efficiency will be there and productivity also efficiently produced by the government and it helps to promote social welfare. Understood? These are the merits of socialistic economy. Next we have to move demerits of socialism. The demerits of socialism also here given some points. Let us see one by one. Red tapeism and bureaucracy. As decisions are taken by the government agencies, approval of many officials and movements of files from one table to another table takes time and leads to red tapeism, corruption. Okay, there will be a time lag and long period, long duration will be there. In between gap, the red tapeism will be there. So because the government only making all the decisions, it will be take all the time, long time. So many bills passed by the government from the president and prime minister and then minister and the cabinet ministers. It will be take too long time. So it leads to red tapeism and bureaucracy. Absence of incentives. The major limitations of socialism is that this system does not provide any incentive for efficiency, because the government only maintaining all those activities. That's why there is no incentive for the efficiency of the government. Therefore, productivity also suffer. If you are giving incentive means the peoples are enthusiastically will be work. But here this is run by only government means there is no efficiency. That's why productivity will be suffer. Limited freedom of choice. Consumers do not enjoy freedom of choice over the consumption of goods and services. In this socialist economy, the consumer do not enjoy freedom of choice their consumption. Okay. Concentration of power. The state takes all major decisions. The private takes no initiative in making economic decisions. So, the state is more powerful and misuse of power can also take place. Here the state only taking all the decision. The major decision taken by the government, the state government only means the private sector isolated. Okay, they cannot making any decision. So, the state is more powerful than the private sector.